with that said, let's transition into Savatage. All right. Go over here to Savatage, announcing reunion shows for 2025. So the lineup in Savatage that will be playing these shows, and there's been some, for the most part, it's been positive. There's been a few mixed reactions to it. But the lineup is as follows. You have Al Petrelli, of course, and Chris Caffery playing guitar, Johnny Lee Middleton playing bass, Jeff Plates playing drums, and then, of course, you have Zach Stevens singing. Basically, it's the Wake of Magellan and Dead Winter Dead lineup minus John. So I have some thoughts on that. A lot of the comments that I was looking at when these announcements were made, and they're playing some festivals. I think it's like, right now it's like 5 or 6 festivals at this point. So it's not like they're going on this big, huge full tour. I mean, they're playing 6 shows. But my thoughts are this, because I'm looking at these people that are saying, oh, the band died when Chris Oliva died, or there's going to be no original members playing, and it's just a tribute band. The usual garbage that people like to spew out when something like this gets announced. Here are my thoughts. Regardless of whatever your view on this band is, whether you like this lineup and you are excited about this, whether you are upset that there are no original members playing in this lineup, at least as of now, or if you thought the band died when Chris Oliva died, the music created by this band deserves to be brought to a live audience. Let me repeat that. Regardless of whatever your opinion is of this band playing these shows, in my opinion, the music created by Savatage deserves to be brought to a live audience. And aside from maybe bringing, Steve Doc Wackholtz back in to play the drums on these gigs, the lineup that is going to be playing these songs basically are members of Savatage. They know what these songs are supposed to sound like. And unless you're going to get Doc involved playing drums, right now, these are the guys probably best suited to play these shows. And I would love to see Doc Wackholtz back in the fold playing these songs live. But since he's not going to be part of that lineup, at least as of now, because who knows what can happen at these festivals. You never know if they just decide to bring somebody back. He hasn't been announced or anything as basically playing these shows. He has said in interviews that he would at least come as a guest and play some of these gigs, or at least play some of these songs. This is the lineup, and I have no problem with this lineup. I'm a late comer to Savatage. I'm going to admit this now. I did not follow the band when Chris Oliva was still around. I was a late comer to Savatage. The first Savatage album that I ever really heard was Dead Winter Dead. So I didn't really get into Savatage until the mid-90s to the late 90s. The other thing is, this lineup, this was the first band I ever met, folks. It was this lineup plus Jon Oliva. In fact, I ended up getting to bring, it was funny, I ended up getting to bring Chris Caffery and Jon Oliva to a radio interview at a friend's radio show. It was Dr. Metal. From the Metal Meltdown show in 88.7 that was here on WJCU at the time. I ended up getting to pick John and Chris up at a hotel, took them down to the radio station, and they did an interview down there, a live interview actually, but a lot of fun. I saw that show on the Wake of Magellan tour, so it would have been 1998. And I saw it at the old Peabody's in Cleveland. So if you were from Cleveland, you might remember the old Peabody's, not the one that was like near the college by Cleveland State. I'm talking about the old Peabody's in the Flats. That's where they played. And it was a great show. And I got to hang out with those guys. It was the first band I ever truly met. And really great group of guys. It's still a great experience that I think of in my head. And for those of you that come and say, hey, look, the band died when Chris Oliva died, I totally understand where you're coming from in that. For me, my favorite era of Savatage would be Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, Streets, and Edge of Thorns. I think those 4 records are some of the best music I've ever heard. I like some of the early stuff. I thought Dead Winter Dead and Wake of Magellan were pretty good albums, but those 4 records I named to you, with Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, Streets, and Edge of Thorns, for me, that's the band in their prime, at least for myself. So I get where you're coming from. Chris Oliva had a very unique style of playing. And I can understand where that crowd comes from. But as far as I'm concerned, and the way that I'm going to talk about it is this. Obviously, you're not bringing Chris back. Jon Oliva has a lot of medical issues. He can't join. In fact, let me read a press release from him, a quote from him, talking about this. It reads as follows. As far as I go, I was going to do these shows, but unfortunately, I run into more health issues. I want you to all know that if there was any way I could do these shows, I would, but my health issues are more serious than I originally thought. As most of you know, I fractured my spine in 3 places and have recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis as well as Meniere's disease. My doctors are working with me to get healthy again. I am working closely with the guys and will be involved in every other aspect of the show. I am 100% behind the guys doing this, and I promise I will return as soon as possible. In the meantime, I am working in the studio on new material. It's actually a really cool thing to hear. New material being worked on. I love you all, and thank you for understanding my situation. I know my brothers will deliver the goods. Enjoy Sava Legions. Much love to you all. Jon Oliva. Okay. Jon gives it his blessing. He's involved with the show, and he's actually writing material for I'm going to guess, another Savatage album. I know it's been talked about, but Jon is a cool dude. It's sad he can't be a part of these shows because this lineup they have going out, plus Jon playing, piano, keyboards, and singing a few songs, it was a great show. It really was. I only saw it once. But, man, it was a phenomenal show. I actually saw the band live twice. When they toured with Poets and Madman and had the Damon Janaya guy singing there, I saw that show as well. But the lineup with Zach Stevens that's going out I think it's a very good lineup. I think they will do a phenomenal job at performing these songs. It would be cool if Doc Wackholtz goes and maybe one of these festivals goes to one of them and gets to play a few songs. That guy is an outstanding drummer, and he's an original member from the band. So I think it would be cool. But I have no problem with it. I know some people think it shouldn't happen, but as I always say, if you don't like it, don't go. Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command Podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.